Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? You what? God design, God design.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. We here. We back. We got a live episode. Thank you for joining. We're very excited as always. I'm your host, Jordan, with Exotic Boerboel Breeders. And we got a very exciting show. I hope that y'all are doing well today. And I'm here with the dogs, taking care of dog business as usual. Hope that everybody been busy with their dogs today, did something with their dogs today, got out with their dogs in some kind of way. I did. I took the puppies out. I'm always doing something with the dogs. I had the puppies running them and working them out. They're nice and quiet in there. You hear everybody nice and quiet. That's how I like the dogs to be, snoring. You hear Pearl in there snoring. That's what it's all about. We had a good time. So today I wanted to give y'all a little introduction as to who I am before I get started into all of this information that I'm sharing with y'all, to let y'all know, where is this coming from, a little bit about my background. I am a person I believe in excellence, and when I say that, I believe in giving my best efforts to everything that I do. Like living every day is to the max. Maybe I'm an extremist or whatever, but I believe that, hey, any day it could be any minute. You got to give it your best. You got to take it with that kind of seriousness, and that's the kind of person that I am. So I'm up there with with everything. I want to give it my best efforts. Also, I started out with my first dog. His name was Bear, and that was as a boy. But I wanted to have a dog like Spike off of the cartoon shows, like a bulldog. And Bear was a good dog. He was my first dog. He was my brother, and he had formed. That's what formed a love for dogs. Maybe I loved dogs before that, but he was a golden retriever chow mix. And he was wanted to be tough dog, but he was like a neighborhood dog. And he went everywhere. Everybody knew him. He got Christmas presents on Christmas. He was just like one of the best dogs that you could have. I mean, like a TV show dog, like Lassie or something, but more urban. And he would go out and have he had friends in the neighborhood. He had girlfriends and stuff. He went over to their houses and he hung out with the let me turn on the comments. Yeah, he hung. Right, exactly. Tom and Jerry Spike. What's going on? What's up with my people? Yeah, Tom and Jerry Spike. Yeah, exactly. So Bear, he had like different dogs in the neighborhood, but people knew who he was. He was social. He was like cool. So he was known to be like walking around and just off leash and just doing his thing. But then we had strays too that came to the neighborhood, because it was like neighborhood dogs that would come in heat, and they would be like Bear's girlfriends. Like he was the only one that would. But this one dog was his girl, and it hurt my feelings. Bear got beat up by another dog. It was a Rottweiler. He was leading. He had a gang of dogs with him. And at that point, I felt bad for my dog. And, it made me start looking at other dogs. Like, man, I want my dog tough. I was salty, though. I was hurt. My feelings was hurt. My dog got beat up by a dog. I didn't like it. So that always stuck with me. But it made me want a tougher dog. So I started looking at like pit bulls or Rottweilers. I did look at the pit bulls a lot because I wanted a dog that didn't, I ain't want no dogs to take no loss. I ain't trying to take no losses. You know what I'm saying? I believe, hey, win at all costs. You know, give it your bag and keep coming until you win at all costs is one of them laws about me. So going into this dog, Barry, my feelings was hurt. He was crushed. He was like my brother. And so I wanted a pit bull or something that was going to come in harder for this Rottweiler. He was a 3-legged Rottweiler that scuffed my dog up, sent him back home with all these wounds. My feelings was hurt. So that made me start looking at other dogs I wanted, but I couldn't get another dog. You know what I'm saying? But because that was it. Bear was our dog. You know, I had to become a grown and on my own and get my own dogs. And that was my dream as a boy. And that's how I ended up where I'm at now. As soon as I got on my own as a man, I got me a dog. I was sleeping in the futon with my dog on a futon and a newspaper with no power in the house. I didn't even need no power. So getting back to my dog Bear, I'm gonna tell y'all something else too about me too. Like I believe you could do anything about you put your mind to. So my sister one time she came to the house and she told me that I guess I don't know, she had said something. My sister was visiting from out of town. She said to us that the dog needs to be having she said that I could be a dog groomer because the dog Bear, his hair was long. He was a chow golden retriever mix, and he had all of this fluff. So I was like, Bear, oh yeah, so I didn't know whether, you know what I'm saying? It makes you wonder, like, you know, people say things, one thing mean another. And I said to myself, oh, well, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, Bear need a haircut. Let me give Bear, I was 12 or 13 years old. So everybody goes to work. We come home from school. I get the clippers. I cut all of the dog's hair off. I give Bear a haircut. I'm talking about cutting him off naked. And everybody come home, they were shocked. You don't cut dog hair with the clippers. You know what I'm saying? What was you thinking? The dog was hiding from us. He wouldn't come out because all of his hair was shaved down to the thing. He had a couple it was my boy though. But that's me. So I don't want to get off into me. It's not about me too much. Wow, that was just a little bit of background. Today I want to talk to you all about the 3 basic needs of dogs. We're going to talk about specifically the Boerboels, how we do what we do and why we do it the way that we do these things. So all dogs have 3 basic needs, and they are food and water, that's 1, sleeping area, and a stimulating environment. So understanding that's why those 3 basic needs. That's one of the reasons why people will tell you to be an experienced dog owner. If you decide that you're going to get a South African Boerboel, you want to be an experienced dog owner because you need to understand those 3 basic needs. Now, being an advanced when it comes to being a South African Boerboel, it would be suggested to have a firm ownership or advanced understanding of this type of ownership, right? So one of the things y'all saw where I don't know if y'all saw or not, reference on one of my videos. If you check one of my videos out back, I had took out the dogs in the whole pack. I had all of the dogs out. We was running, 4 or 5 different families of dogs, and then we are on the move and we moving. So a dog, I was basically simulating this behavior with one of the number 1 things that I believe in for maintenance of the Boerboels is the stimulating environment, right? Because the dog is a very social creature. Remember, it's coming from the wolf, but it's not wolf. It's not exactly the same as a wolf because it is basically like a con artist of people. You know what I'm saying? That's the way that the dog has made his living. And it depends on people, whereas the wolf is not looking for people. It's going to do its own thing. It's surviving in the wild. It's surviving. It's coming up in a different environment. So puppies are developed different than a dog, and it's a totally different thing. Even the dogs they can both breed together. It's 2 totally different species. Well, 2 totally different the way that they develop. So the conditions that they come up under. Dogs look at people. That's something that we need to really understand when we communicating with our dogs and socializing with our dogs. That's one of the things that draws us to the dogs is the fact that they have eye contact. So eye contact is fundamental in human communication, and we need to understand that. Maybe a lot of times people might say they don't understand how is this dog has a sixth sense. He seems to know what I'm thinking before I'm getting ready to do something. He knows what I'm getting ready to do. He knows when I'm sad. He knows when I'm happy. He knows when I need a hug. And then when the dog feels that, because he's reading your eyes, he's an expert at your facial emotions. It's hard to hide the way that you feel in the eyes. And that's why you see it like poker players and the police, they cover the eyes. So it's a way to avoid the detection, and you can't get a read on them. What are they looking at, and all of that different kind of things. What's important to them is minute behavioral observations that we don't completely understand all the time when we always talking. One about how we communicate is when we talk about 80% of it being through the body language. That's one of the ways that we communicate. A lot of our eyes are very expressive. So you talk about like a dreamy eyes, and people always describe the eyes. And a lot of times, they tell you the eyes don't lie. Well, people, the truth is in the eyes. That the eyes is touching is into the soul. People say that. So that's a key to understanding development in the life and of a dog's development is the relationship that they have with the eyes. So, excuse me. Let's moving on. We understand that because of the dog having this social behavior and it's similar to the wolf, the way that the dogs look, we oftentimes we get into how the dog is fed, because people will have questions about that, and I'm gonna mention that right now about the way that the dog is fed, because it relates to the way that the wolf is conditioned in this social atmosphere that we try to simulate with our South African Boerboels. Okay. And the way that the dog socializes, it's important to give the dog activity, a way to move the dog from, well, in the wild, the way that the wolf moves around, one of the ways that they get this natural stimulation is through the hunt. So they're constantly chasing down the herd, and then what happens is that through the herd, the weaker dog or the weaker buffalo or the weaker the young ones or the ones that can't keep up, this their way of falling off, and only the strongest ones on the herd survive. So they may be running, chasing behind the herd for 3 or 4 days, and then through this process, they not eating. But then when they finally do eat, they get as much as they want, and then they may eat, excess and gorge themselves. So we got to understand that when we talk about feeding, because a lot of times we have starting to associate the way that we eat with the way that the dog eats, and that's going to be fundamental in your development of your South African Boerboel or any dog that you have. You have to have a understanding that I want to be fair to the dog and treat the dog like a dog. So get into the dog sleeping arrangements. See, what's important to you is not what's important to the dog. People, the dog, you look at, okay, well, why is the dog keep sleeping? One of the questions that I get a lot is, the dog keeps sleeping in the bed. I can't get the dog off my bed. You have to, even though you got a comfortable bed, the dog wants to be close by you. And then it's also of a preferred sleeping area. So this is where you sleep at, and it's a familiar space. And this is where the dog wants to. So it's like the dog is getting, and remember, he's living by his smell, and he wants to sleep where the smell is a familiar smell, and he's comfortable. It makes him comfortable. So it's almost like it's releasing these certain things inside of his brain that is saying to him, it feels good where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? All I need to do is be here, because eventually this is the strong. Well, I know that dad is gonna come back here eventually. I could sense him, or mom's here. I know that she's be right here on the couch all the time, and so knowing that soon as you leave, the dog is gonna jump up there in that spot. You want to put the dog where the dog can't do that, because that's gonna happen, and that's why. That is why. Understanding that behavior. Okay, so don't be surprised if the dog stays off of the furniture as long as you're around, and then as soon as you get back, I mean, they keep their back on there, because the dog doesn't look as a couch. It doesn't see it as a couch. It doesn't see it as worth more than the floor, or worth more than the bed. It's just a place where you sit, and the smell is strong, and the dog is familiar with your smell, and it's a preferred that it is close to you, because we have to remember that the dog, a lot of his development coming through the nostril area, he's seeing his environment through the nose. This is a place that he wants to be. It releases different chemicals inside of his brain, and he starts to feel comfortable, and he knows that instinctually is a place where his resources can be provided, or you likely to come back to. So we have to understand why the dog does that. So getting back to the stimulating environment, I don't know how I got it, but we're gonna keep it on these three things specifically inside the three basic needs. Getting back to the stimulating environment with the dogs, while once with our South African Boerboels, it's important to understand that this environment is instinctually behind the dogs, and they're conditioned to thrive for it. So certain type of dogs, all dogs are developed alongside man, and each different breed serves a purpose. So that is one of the most diverse species that it is the most diverse species, the range of dogs that we have, because they come from all the way from a 2 or 3 pound mini Yorkie or mini Chihuahua, all the way up to 270-pound hounds. And that's because man has strictly been able to, in a very short period of time, mold the dog and develop the dog to meet its needs as it developed, because the dog basically is surviving off of what is able to get man to feed him, what is able to do to get man to feed him. So knowing that, we can use that information to establish a strong relationship with our dog. This gives us an opportunity to feed the dog, or understanding of when to feed the dogs. You want to feed your dogs based off of the activity or the environment or the conditions that you subjected them to. And so what I mean by that is, your dog should have a job, right? And once that could be simple as sit before it's being rewarded with food or praise, right? And that's how you're going to further your relationship with your dog, and your dog will be able to be peaceful and happy relationship inside of your house. It's a good relationship if you're able to make the dog so it's a fundamental building block. Okay, so we're gonna go sit down, and then once we're able to understand the word sit, because remember that the dog is here to be he wants to figure out what is it that I have to do to get some food around here. Please, somebody feed me. Do you want me to, what do you want me to do? I'm a hound. Where the rabbits at? You feel me? Where the rabbits at? I got a job to do. I'm here to serve you, master. You know, where the rabbits at? Or the Boerboel was like, you know, look, hey man, look, everything is cool. I'm trying to be by your side. I wanna help you. What we doing today? You want to go for a run? We watching out for people. You know, what we doing today? And that's how the dog, you understanding this relationship with your dog. That is how you have a successful relationship, and the dog is not going to end up a problem for you. Or this is how you alleviate things, problems in the future, because you got this understanding of this relationship of how to feed the dog, or when to feed the dog, how much to feed the dog, and it's part of the environment. So we're gonna condition the dog based on, we know that this dog is an athlete. This dog is a muscle man. We want this dog is capable of covering plant the distance of a plantation in a day. And if when we're talking about a plantation, we're talking about thousands of acres, like a ranch. So that's tens of 20s of miles, right? That's a body that is developed that can withstand that type of covering, that type of terrain, while the farmer is on horseback, okay, in a day, and capable to fend off some of the most dangerous predators and opponents in the world, including humans, marauders, people trying to take your farm, people raiding your farm for food and goods. That's what these dogs were there for, to save them, save the farmer, and serve as a line of defense. So understanding this, what's going on? So with all of that understood, the Boerboels, they want to knowing what the Boerboels genetically, or we're gonna go back to the genetics, knowing what the Boerboels genetically are conditioned for a certain type of environmental stimulus, we're going to provide that or stimulate is in some kind of way is natural. So we take the dog for a nice run, and we're going to feed the dog based on that also, because remember that this is recreating the dog hunting or migrating, seeking out new prey and territory, hunting territory. So we're gonna cover this distance. We're gonna ride or mentally. That's why I really like to do the dogs on the ride, and I like to do it, and it also is one of the reasons that people say, or as studies have found out, that having a dog, one of the health benefits of having a dog, it requires you to get up and move and do something. No matter what dog that you have, it's going to make you get up and go outside, take the dog outside and do something. So moving on. We understand that the dog, fundamentally, the socialization of the dog is through the eyes. There are a lot of we know that what they see is a lot of eye contact. They're paying attention to us because there are species that is first cousins of the wolf, right? And that's confirmed through all the commercials, I guess, right? Everybody watch TV and see the commercials say that dogs need to eat what the wolf eats because the dog is a wolf, and that's the best diet for them, right? So you need to feed them this kind of dog food. Whatever the dog food may be, fill it in. You know what I'm saying? Buy it from them. So they're gonna give you partial information. Part of that is good, right information. We're gonna definitely agree with the dog is the cousins of the wolf. Therefore, that is digestive system is mimic the wolf, and which means that the dog is a scavenger, and it can survive off of many different things. Many different things is divide its environment. It's food that a dog can eat is variable. Okay, it's an omnivore. It can eat a lot of different foods. So we're gonna feed the dog based on knowing after we do all of this running and covering all this distance, we need nutrition, right? We feed the dog, and after the dog eats, I like to let the dogs fast. And we may go 2-3 days, depending on how many. Well, I supply enough food for the feed for the dogs to where they can survive 2-3 days without me having to feed them again. Then what I'll notice is I'm watching for the dog's stool to come out. How much the dog's stool comes out, I got an idea based off of what they did previously the day before and the day before that. So I'm familiar with the dog's stool because I'm the one that's cleaning it up, or I see it when it comes out. And then, so I'm feeding the dogs according to that. When the dog's stool is loose, I know that a lot of the nutrients is not being absorbed. And because what I'm feeding the dogs, a lot of the nutrition is going directly into the dogs, and they absorb. I'm feeding the dogs a lot of raw chicken, and I feed the dogs the whole prey diet. Most of my big dogs is eating once every other day, and that diet they probably get 10 pounds of chicken leg quarters, 5 to 10 pounds of chicken leg quarters, and that's cheaper than dog food for me. So it's better for me to feed them that. And it's whole prey model diet similar to what the wolf would eat. It's got chicken. The chicken had leg quarter. It's got bone, fat, muscle, and it's a strong base for any raw diet. After that, they can go 2 to 3 days because I've already conditioned them from puppies that their metabolism is slow. It's lowered. It's not like they're always looking for the food every single day. And believe it or not, the dogs are more in tune. I got their attention more often, and they're paying attention to me, and what I do matters. So I keep that in mind, and I know that the dogs are looking for me for my approval because of the South African Boerboel being a utility breed. They always want to please. They always want to make you happy, and they looking for you to love on them, right? So because it's a social animal. That's part of that stimulating environment, and that's the one key to that point that I wanted to make. The dog is part of its social environment. They want to be by you all the time, right? Because they're trying to earn your praise. So I'm very, very selective with how much praise I offer my dogs, right? Because I understand how much that it means to them, right? And I don't want it to be something that they look past or that they feel like it's cheap or that it's something that they're getting without earned, and then it becomes meaningless. So we had a routine. When the dogs come by me, they had to sit or they had to follow command or something. I called them to me, and then what the response is praise, and then once they follow, and then once they do it exactly, that's how I feed them. Before I feed them, they had to earn it. They had to earn the food. We go through this routine, and we start with the sit, and then we get to put the dogs in the down, and then after that, we're able to build on these commands, and that's part of this whole stimulating environment. Those are the building blocks. Every dog trainer or routine, every dog trainer is going to have some form of a routine because it's just the way that the dog is environment. If you understand, it's the way that the dog is developed, because all dogs need a stimulating environment. And Boerboel is just an enhanced version of the best dog that you ever had. So now that we know these things, I hope that y'all got a better insight onto the dogs having a very observative nature, why the dogs do what they do and how they communicate, how to socialize your dog. I hope you walked away with better understanding of how the Boerboel, how the environment, why the dogs are the way that they are, and how to make them thrive over time. And why we do what we do is because of longevity. Because of longevity. So that's right. What up, cuz? So I hope everybody walked away with something. You see why it's a reasoning for why I do that. I didn't know. I hope I'm trying to help out best that I can. I'm not trying to brag or nothing and boast. I'm not no super expert or nothing. I just trying to share my experience from my point of view, how I do what I have been doing, and how I've been able to achieve. What my dogs is what my dogs are all about. That's what this is. Just a deeper understanding of, from my perspective, 15 years of the South African Boerboel. For sure, for sure. Thanks, family. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here as like I said, I was gonna be here at 7 o'clock on Thursdays. So I did my best to come through like I said I would. And if anybody got any questions, I'll take some questions before I go. Um, but as far as the dogs, we talked about associating the dog with human characteristics. Did I touch on that as far as their socialization or understanding it? Maybe that'll be for next episode. But knowing this about the Boerboels and the dogs. Oh yeah, riding the bike. I rode the bike with these 12-week-old puppies today. I did that today and I did that yesterday because the puppies was making too much noise. They need to be exercised. They need to be ran. It's and you hear them nice. Everybody is quiet. They ain't made a peep out the puppies, and they sitting right here in the next room. Like I could go grab one out. I took them out for a run, and that's something that I do. I don't tell nobody recommend it because they say that it's not good, but that's what I do for my dogs. I start running them. I ride the bike with the puppies, and I gas them out. It helps me keep them on schedule. It helps the puppies relax. You haven't heard not a noise out the puppies this whole time. They're sitting over there sleeping like a baby. And I do that with a puppy. I do that with a child. And I feel like a person. We need something to do. We need to get out. We need to move around. Well, it's part of our genetic development, just like it is with the dogs. We're supposed to be doing something. So I started taking them puppies out soon as they get I decide, yeah, 7 weeks. 7 weeks, I might start walking it for like 9, 10 weeks, 11 weeks. I'm gonna ride mine for maybe like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I rode the puppies for 40 minutes today. I like doing that because I don't like I like the dogs to relax. And you hear the puppies, they're not making no noise. Yeah, I like them nice and quiet. I don't mind. I don't mind. It's fun for me to see them running, 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 running. And then I pet them up, pet them up, pet them up, and it makes them sleep like a baby. All of the dogs sleep like a baby. They just want to rest for 3 or 4 days after that. When you do it the right way, they just want to rest, and it's part of their bodies repairing and recovering. Remember, this is we recreating like this natural environment for like with the wolf, or like with the farmer. The dog is gonna have to do all of these things. It's gonna have to do all of this before it eats, right? It's gonna go through this harsh environment, through up mountaintops, through hills, across plains, through across long fields, running, chasing off herding sheep or whatever the case for the farm, whatever the purpose that the dogs serve on a particular farm, depending on what kind of farm it is. Because you got to remember that farmers have, some people might be farming wheat, some people might be farming corn, some people might be farming sheep, some people might be farming beef. So each different type of Boerboel, depending on the geography or location, is based off of that's how the line is developed. So that's why it's important to understand that when you're selecting your dog. And that may be a good question for your breeder, even if you don't get a dog from me, because I ain't, even if you don't get a dog from me or whoever you get your dog from, it's a good idea to understand what is your purpose for breeding these dogs. What are you trying to achieve? And for your bloodlines, how long should you walk your 11-month? That's another good question. Okay, the 13-month-old, I would trot that dog all on the side of the bike, and I'll watch him. And then I'll look for signs of exhaustion. First, I'll fast him, right? So he haven't ate today. He may be, I might release him from some form of confinement where this time, he been waiting on me to come get him. So I may go get old boy, and I may say, come on, boy, we gonna go for a run. And this is beyond something like it letting out in the backyard and just run around the backyard for 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about we're going to go at a consistent pace for a consistent distance or a consistent amount of time. Whether it be, 5 to 6 miles, an hour consistently. That's going to be your average pace. I like to take my dogs 7 to 9, though. I like to go 7 to 9 miles an hour. I like to use the speedo on the bike. I'm just into it like that. That's my thing that I like to do. 7 to 9 miles an hour with my dogs for a certain distance. I want to push them and really see what they can do. That's a good idea. Yeah, I like to run them. I'm gonna get to that one second. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's do this. Good question. This is the question, so help me stay on. How long should I walk my 13-month-old? Okay. I'm gonna take the 13-month-old, and what I would do is I would go on a bike and ride the dog as far as I could until the dog showed me some form of exhaustion, right? Once the dog starts to say, hey man, or fall behind, because he's gonna be giving you all that he got. He's gonna be doing everything that he can to keep up, right? He should be, because he's hungry and he's trying to get something, he's trying to earn some food, okay? So he's trying to, hey man, look, you ain't fed me today, man. What's up? And I've been sitting down here all day, man, waiting on you all day, man. What's up with the food, man? So hey, what we gotta do to get some chow around here, man? And you like, okay, buddy, come on, let's go. Get on the bike. I'm gonna follow me. I'm about to take you to the food. I'm about to take you to the food. and then the food is like 7-8 miles down the road. You know what I mean? And you just take the dog, right? So remember this. This is very, very important too. So I'll take the dog for far as he possibly can until I see the dog getting ready to give up. And it's like he giving me his last that he got, right? And then once I finally getting the once I see that he's starting to break down just a little bit, I'm gonna pump him up and I'm gonna try to get him to go a little bit farther. And I'm gonna tell him, good dog, boy. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for. I want you to give it all you got, right? And once he starts to feel that way, that I'm right there with him, I'll give him a break, and we stop. I'll pet him up. Excuse me. I'll pet him up. Hey, good boy. Yes, you get good boy. At that moment, the dog starts to get hope, right? And I'm gonna remember where we stopped at. I'm gonna remember where we stopped at this first time, right? And at that point, that is how far you should walk the dog, right? So me personally, I'll take the dog again, ride him another distance, and I'll try to really because I know that he's got this hope now. He knows I'm only gonna take him so far. I'm gonna watch him and I'm gonna be paying attention, and I'm gonna see that he's starting to get stressed in his eyes, and I'm not gonna break him down. But see, that's what the bike is a big advantage. The bike is so important. You gotta have the bike because the dog just can't keep up with the bike. You know what I mean? If you riding it, and so now he looking at you like, man, this dude, he got so much gas. You know what I'm saying? My dogs be so tired, they don't want to go against. And then they looking at me like, hey, man, this dude can run so far. He can go so far. I can never keep up with him no matter what. Master is like one of the most hardest running hunters that I've ever witnessed in my life. He's the biggest thing in that to the dog. That's how a dog feels about the owner. The Boerboel feels about you like that. So you can so I'm getting too far off of the subject, but appreciate that question, Scale. So next question. How do we feel about putting a Boerboel through 100? How do I feel about putting a Boerboel through a defense course to be a better guard dog, well-rounded, and to attack on command? That, I feel, is fundamental if you think that you're going to be needing your dog to attack on a command. If you believe truly in your heart that a situation is going to present itself, that you need your dog to attack on command or defend, or because really the dogs, if you got a bond and it's a sense of danger and a person try to do something to you, you got a Boerboel, it's instinctual. If you have the bond and you have a relationship with your dog and you can research how to arouse suspicion in your dog, you research how to arouse suspicion in your dog, and I think that will be enough for you versus getting attack training or getting the dog to be trained to attack. If you not understand how to arouse suspicion, then the dog instinctually is going to start to get into defense mode. And I mean, you're going to have to arm yourself. You're going to have to arm yourself and be prepared to defend your dog, because the dog is only at the end of the day going to be able to do so much with a man. Remember, the man has ruled beasts mightier than the dog. We talking about lions and tigers and bears. So taming the dog, the man got something to deal with the dog. Eventually, you need to be prepared to defend your dog. We go one step further, and having the dog to be able to do the defense is still leave you with that ultimatum and being able to defend your own dog. So Yeah, that's key right there. That's key information for you. That's key information for you as far as putting the dog through the defense course. I think it's good activity though. If anything that you plan on doing with your dog beyond just having the dog sitting around the house is excellent. And to be, if you're gonna put the dog through a guard dog course, that is good. That is good thing to do though. But I think that Boerboels particularly are, don't be surprised if it doesn't respond the same way as Malinois or a Shepherd, or because I think that we need to understand and treat the dog different. It's not exclusively a herder or coming from that type of background or military or guard dog background or like the traditional guard dog. When you're talking about an African Boerboel, it's more companion oriented. You know, one of the best qualities is the temperament and the intelligence. The fact that they want to try, they're trying to understand the situation. So, you know, you're communicating with the dog. If you responsible with your ownership, the dog is gonna know when to protect you. It's gonna know when the situation needs for it, does cause for it to spring into action, and then you understand how to arouse suspicion, and then you do that. But if you putting a dog through the defense course, it's a good thing. It's not absolutely necessary. With the African Boerboels, it's more important to train the dog to not attack. You got to train the dog. You got to be training these Boerboels to stop attacking, because they're gonna do that once you start to agitating this Boerboel and getting them into defense mode and getting them into protection mode. You want to make sure that they understand out, because it's like a lightning bolt. They're like a Tasmanian devil, and it surprised a lot of people. They're not prepared for it. They think that the dog, oh, because they're so loving and gentle with my family and everybody loves him and he's so loving. But the dog instinctually a hungry Boerboel. When they get real hungry, you got a dog that's pepped up and he's ready to go and he's ready to move and he's ready to get busy. So now you got the real raw, the dog at its purest. He not like watered down with a whole bunch of food or whatever, weighted down with a bunch of food. He pure South African Boerboel, nothing but the dog on the empty stomach, right? Now you got him all psyched up, and now you can really see what your dog is all about. So as far as that go with the guard dog, is if you long as you got a good bond with your Boerboel, as long as you got a good bond with your Boerboel, it's easy to bring out their natural instincts. They're gonna be looking to protect you. They're gonna be looking to be by you, and you have a natural the way to understand instincts. Then you're in good shape. This is wrong. All right, y'all. Anybody got any more questions? Anybody got any more questions? I'm happy to answer the questions. So I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all got a better understanding of what we got going on, why we do what we do. This was this. It was a. I hope it was a good episode. I hope everybody making the most out of your day, keeping it constructive, looking for solutions. I hope any my information was informative and you walked away with something that was beneficial. I have fun with y'all. I'm glad that y'all was here, and I hope to see you again. Tomorrow is gonna be a great day. Looking forward to tomorrow. I don't know what we got going on, but it's still looking forward to it, and the next day after that too. And hope to see y'all soon. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me and the Boerboels. Don't forget to go check out the website. We've been busy making some upgrades on the website. Okay, the best time to breed. Let me see that. Best time to breed. When is the best time to breed? Okay, the best time to breed. Let me get to that. I feel that the best time to breed is right around the dog is about 13, 14 months. And it's not that we're trying to get the dogs familiar with motherhood. The dogs will be 18. We're just gonna bring them into full maturity. It's a good time if it's a breeding female, right? If it's the female that we're gonna use for breeding, and that's not to say. Remember, this is a seasonal event, so it's just one season. It's not that we're gonna be doing the intense breeding, and then it really has a lot to do with the female. So you got to measure your dog. But I'll say between the ages of 18 to 14 months, that's when they're gonna be the most fertile. That's gonna be the most fertile. That's when they're gonna be reproductively mature. You want to remember that every time that you miss a heat, the dog still is going to go through a mock pregnancy and like a false pregnancy, whether it's expressed or not. The body is going to simulate a pregnancy, and it's going to repair from that pregnancy worse if it was a false pregnancy than it would if it was a real actual pregnancy. The actual pregnancy is a more natural way for the dog to breed. And I think that's important to understand, because that's why, as a result of the dog breeding early as many generations, and that's how we able to shape the dog breeds in particular in many generations in relatively a short period of time. It still may take a lifetime and to develop a distinct dog breed, but this is what allows humans to manipulate dogs in a very few years or short generations, because we able to breed the dog as early as the dog is actually sexually mature at 8 or 9 months. I don't recommend breeding at that time, but it is allowed and accepted through the American Kennel Club. That's a funny fact. If you don't believe me, you can check it. They accept dog litters from females as young as 8 or 9 months old. So, but I don't recommend breeding a dog that young. She's just too immature, especially a Boerboel. I don't care what breed it is. That's just too young. But 14 to 18 months, 13 to 18 months, I think that's bringing the dog right into maturity, and it's a good time to go. You don't want to continually miss heats. I'm not saying some intense breeding. I'm also saying consider the female too. So you don't want it to just, if your female is one of them slow developing, that's against the code right there. So what you want to do is wait till the dog is completely mature. And the AKC is accepting that. The AKC is accepting. What's up, family? Yes, I'm still trying every day. But the AKC would accept that. And that's something that is controversial. While people say, see, that's why I get on these people like, okay, what does that really mean? Do y'all know what these people standing for? They just like, I see I have seen some other conditions of like AKC dog breeders that, they're supposed to be kennel AKC inspected. And it's like, ain't no love there for the dogs. Ain't no companionship though. But this is what they accept and allow. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about dogs being bred just indiscriminately. Ain't no real but preference people, and what people don't know, people don't understand. I hope people that watch the show understand that it's better. My fault, family. You didn't have to hit me up. All you had to do is hit me up. I'm around here. Yeah, I'm around here. Yeah, not the holy AKC. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So I say 13, 18 months, because it's been from science, understanding the science behind it. If you start, a lot of go by what they recommend. Some people may say 2 years old. When you wait till the dog's got his tested or whatever. But if you do that, what happens is you're breeding with a dog that's got an aged uterus. So now the uterus is like, because you haven't bred the dog, is actually 3-4 years old in compared to a dog that has been bred already. So because if it's missing that many heats in a row, you never know how many heats the dog have missed. So it's exactly what you're supposed to, that's what you're supposed to do. So yeah, and I think the result of that, if you see with my dogs, they had the litters that we had. We started breeding with a Feeney. That's a good example. With her first litter, she had 5 puppies. It wasn't something that was like, oh, okay, we wasn't disappointed, but it brought her into motherhood. She still didn't get it right, but she still was able to deliver on a solid litter. We were able to get an idea of what she was able to bring to the table as genetically. Also with her, same thing with Sheba. Same thing with Sheba. She only had 1 puppy on her first litter, but the puppy was and then we did that through the vet, and the puppy was an awesome puppy. Had a lot of intense energy. He was a very smart, very intelligent. It give us an idea of what she was bringing to the table just based off of the 1 puppy, what he did have and what he did not have. So because remember that genetics is expressed or based off of dominance and recessive, we're looking at the puppy and we able to say based off what his strong characteristics were, what was passed on from our lines. So we liked it, the puppy, and it's something that's going to be ongoing. If you made the decision that this is a dog that you want to breed, I would do it around that time. I will, and then find out what you got going on, find out what you really got going on, and that's the best way to find out. That's the best test itself, because if you're a breeder, I mean, we just being straight up. I'm transparent. I'm the real. I'm not gonna fake with you. I'm gonna tell you the real. If you're about me, if you're a breeder and you got a dog that you definitely intend on breeding because this a dog that is continuing a line that you're developing, and you got to see where the dog stand. I would suggest breeding a dog, and then you find out is she a good mom? Is she fertile? Is she strong? Is she? You find a lot about what is she passing on to her puppies, and based off her and the sire. So, are there any Boerboel shows in the U.S.? Yeah, then what they have in the Boerboel shows in the U.S. So I hope I answered that question good. Next question: are there any Boerboel shows in the U.S.? We got a show coming up June the 26th, Cleveland, Ohio. Y'all bring out all the Boerboels. It's going to be at the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds. We locking in the location. We're showing out. It's the bash, the showcase, Steakhouse Showcase. And it's a lot of fun. It's a big show. We were going to try to start doing more. What we needed to do, what we're doing is, though, we're working towards developing more events through the club that's exclusively for the Boerboel breed and measuring the Boerboel traits and characteristics that we feel are important that need to be maintained in any breeding program or a quality breeding program. Or we're going to be rating breeding programs based off of what are the dogs measuring up to their intentions of a breed, or to their athletic, specifically talking about the athletic abilities, health and vigor specifically. So it was a great episode. I'm glad that y'all joined. I hope that it's getting better, not worse, for you and for me. I'm not a TV announcer. I'm not a broadcaster. I'm not a broadcaster. I'm just hanging out. With y'all, talking about the dogs. I like So that's going to be a good dog show. A lot of the Boerboel shows though are going to be like appraisal based, where they bring the dogs. It's a good opportunity for you to meet people that's involved with the breed and find out, good looks on the dogs. They got you will have to look into like the NABA or the SABS, SABBS. Those are different organizations that host Boerboel shows. And then you go see, maybe check and see if they got a list of entries, how many entries that they got. So NABBS is an event, NABA, SABS, AKC have some Boerboels in some of their shows. But your best bet is to contact the breeders and see where they are going to be exhibiting their shows, because you don't want to go out to a show and find out there's no Boerboels there. You want to talk to the breeders and find out, if they're going to be taking their dogs to the show, and what shows are they going to be going to. That's how you find out about the shows. Holla at the breeders. So yeah, that's a good starting point right there, because there's a lot of different organizations that you could choose to exhibit your dog in the show, or how you want to show your dog's abilities, or where you think the dog's qualities are. And there's a lot of different platforms for you to be able to do that. So you had to really look into the different. I gave a few examples. You had to look into them, but that shows is a great place for you to network with. If you got the dog breed, if you already, or you learning about the dog breed, because people are gonna bring out their finest dogs to the dog show, or the people that something that is worth seeing. You're not gonna see no dog that underfed. Well, I don't expect to see nobody bringing an underfed, under cared for dog to the dog show, because they know everybody be there that's gonna be there understand what a good dog look like, and that ain't it if it ain't taken care of. So I have met some good people at the dog shows, and built some good relationships, and it's a good place to go. That's part of my strategy for seeking out some of the best dogs, is go to the dog shows, and that's how you find out about dogs that you may not know about, that's or not real popular at the time, before they get popular, is at the dog shows. So you go to the dog shows. You go to the dog shows and you take your females. You first you select your female. This is a good question too, based on the dog shows about the breeding programs, and one of the ways that we use the dog shows as a tool as a breeder. When you go to the dog shows, it's an example of you find other breeders to network with, but so you find the line, you meet with the people, you find out are the dogs that they're breeding going to meet your desires in a puppy or in an adult dog, and why are they producing these dogs, or what are they doing with the dogs? And you take that puppy, or if it's a female dog and you try to use the dog as a breeding stock, how do you get started with breeding? You take that puppy. This is the best strategy, and it's not my strategy. I can't take credit for it, but I'm gonna tell you. You take that puppy and then you breed it to the best dogs that you can find. You breed it to the best males that you can find, and that's how you get the best puppies, or the male there was the puppies. You can get it where you get it to the best male dog that you can breed it to, and or that the best. And when I say best, that's the best dog for you, based off of what are you trying to reproduce in your future generations. And this is where you find some of these dogs at, if you're looking for show lines, and you find people that you can work with, and get a chance, the opportunity to meet with them and vibe with them, because they into their dogs. And so you want to go to the kind of events that you're looking for, the kind of dogs they have. Thanks, Felny. Thanks, Iron. I appreciate the non-sugar coated content that you make. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not that's how I am. I'm just trying to tell y'all the realest that I know, the truth, and as I know it to be, and that you are able to use it, and don't take my word for it. Check with somebody else, and then put it to the test and see what works for you. So it's just a point of view. That's all it is, and that's what it's meant to do. You're supposed to take it and just walk away with it. But I'm glad that you like it. I'm gonna keep on coming with more. I'm trying to make it even better next time. Iris, thanks for the comment. All right, I'll be dropping jewels. Thanks, family. Thanks. I appreciate that. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help. That's all. I'm trying to play because I feel very lucky, or yeah, I feel like humble, very humble to have all the dogs that I have access to. I'm just being able to hang out with them and all the puppies, and I feel like it's one of the best things, and it's just a normal thing for me. And I'm able to share that with y'all. I know it is. It's like my childhood dream. Be able to run with all them dogs, running with all them dogs. It's so fun. For me, it make me feel like I'm about 13 all over again every time I get on there. For sure. Thanks, family. Yep, and then you can see I still do the same thing with them dogs from my early videos. That's the same thing from my early videos. I'm still running the dog in the same territories and doing the same thing. They go to puppies there making noise now. That's heard up. So I'm gonna get up, let the puppies out again, and see that's more environmental stimulus they're gonna get familiar with. Hey, look, where they should be going to use the bathroom. I already know that when the last time that I had let them out, they had got quite a bit of water, and they can't hold it for so long because they still puppies. And I want to be fair to the puppies and make sure that they're getting out. Yeah, I want to make sure that they're getting out and getting what they need as puppies at that age, because you got to meet the puppies' needs. They got their developmental needs, and then I'm the breeder. I had the puppies for this long. They, regardless of the transportation situation, we got backed up for the holidays. I'm still gonna do what I gotta do with the dogs. It's time for them to start getting potty trained. So I'm taking them outside, and this is what I would do with the dogs. So my boy, my partner that's getting the dogs in Vegas is a boxing dude. So I know that they're gonna be fitness is not gonna be an issue for them. But I don't like to do this with people with my dogs, because once I start doing this exercise routine with the dog, it's not gonna be something that you can stop doing, because the dog is it's gonna turn into like an exercise machine, and then it'll tear up everything that you got in. Well, the tear if what I'm saying is, once I start exercising the dog, it's gonna be something that it is going to need to do. It's not based on the breed, or it's how I keep the dog in it, and I don't mind doing it. I don't mind doing it, but so the dogs, they drink a lot of water when they got back, and they use the bathroom good. But I've been sitting here kind of waiting on them. I'm here with them, and they sound like they need something. If they keep on whining, I'm gonna be letting them out soon so they can use it. But I appreciate y'all for joining. Yeah. All right, my chickens, they're eating chicken. All right. Yeah, remember that? Yeah, we still here doing it. I missed them chickens. They didn't last. The dogs got to them, and we did have one final chicken we tried, but we country and the heart. We tried our best with the chickens. Gonna try again. They didn't. The dogs, when they go into that fast thing, it brings out their natural instinct. And remember, they're eating chicken every day. They're eating chicken every day, so yeah, they eat raw chicken every day. Mostly that's what they eat. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for joining. Next time if y'all guys any suggestions, hit me up on the comments. Gonna roll out. I hope that it was informative. I hope it was interesting. I hope everybody having a blessed day tomorrow and evening. Happy New Year if I don't see you. If I don't hear from you, Happy New Year. Celebrate every day, not just a holiday, because that's what somebody else told you was a holiday. Celebrate every day. I appreciate y'all for joining. And don't forget to visit the website, subscribe if you haven't already. Peace, y'all.
No rush, go on, move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you got a deal run up. No rush, go on, move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and now you got a deal run up. Bogan, Bowman, old school, young jam.